This one thing scares me more than anything else in crypto, and it's the question that I keep asking myself. Is the crypto market broken? Because if it is, I need to get out and never come back. You see, over the past few years, Bitcoin and the altcoins have been doing many things they have never ever done before. And right now, that is becoming more and more obvious and therefore more and more worrying. So, is it time to leave crypto forever? Well, do me a favor, hit the like button and let's go find out. Now guys, before we go and check out this chart, which genuinely is one of the scariest charts in crypto right now and is actually causing me to lose sleep, let's quickly have a look at the Bitcoin price, because I know right now the crypto market is incredibly emotionally charged, and quite rightly so. You see, the fear and greed index has just hit 9, extreme fear again. We haven't really seen this since back in early February, and there's a reason we're seeing it. You see, the Bitcoin price has been retesting this low back at around $60,000 that it established all the way back in early February, which means that for the last 5 months, the price of Bitcoin has effectively just gone sideways between this high and this low. But the anxiety and the panic and the pain that was caused by this over the past few months, and in fact the altcoin market over the past few years, is now having time pain applied to it as well, meaning that any sort of slight recovery only brings very brief relief, and any pushback down amplifies the pain that was being felt earlier on. And therefore the idea that Bitcoin is going to capitulate to $50,000, maybe even $40,000 is becoming more and more realistic, at least in people's minds. But let's think about this from a logic point of view rather than through emotion to identify how likely this is to happen, at least in the shorter term. Now, the first thing to realize is that from current prices, a push down to 50k would be a loss of around 17 to 18% of Bitcoin's market cap. From current prices down to around 40k, it would be a loss of around 34%. Now, this is what the kind of broader idea is across the crypto market, not to buy any crypto at all and to sit and wait until October when you can buy Bitcoin a 30% discount from now. But how realistic is it? You see, right now the Bitcoin market cap is $1.2 trillion with a T. That's a big number, right? And 10% of $1.2 trillion is $120 billion. Just for context, that's 2 times the market cap of XRP. So if the Bitcoin price was to fall down by 10%, that would be 2 XRP market caps completely sold off and wiped out. For it to fall down 40%, effectively you're losing more than 8 times the XRP market cap from the market cap of Bitcoin. Where is all that sell pressure going to come from? Well, it's going to come from more capitulation, right? People scared getting out the market. Fair enough that you might think that. But if you're out the market waiting for lows later on this year, that's pretty much what everybody else is trying to do. And we can see it all here. You see, the NPRL, which is the net realized profits and loss, show you when people have sold in massive numbers and been buying in massive numbers. And this is showing us something very positive here. You see, when the green spikes towards the upside, it shows you that everybody is suddenly in massive profits. Like when Donald Trump won the election. We saw Bitcoin going straight up. Everyone suddenly arrives in massive profits here. Eventually you get to a point where the price stalls and suddenly people start to take profits. This then goes down to equilibrium. Price then goes and levels off. Now eventually the price will then fall back to the other side. And when that happens, everybody suddenly finds themselves in massive loss. But why you get this spike down and then back up is all those losses then get sold off. People take the big loss, they sell at the bottom, and then this turns back to equilibrium. And you can see that this has happened 2 times since the start of 2026. This was back around when the FTX crash happened. This was back around the kind of COVID 2019 dip. And this was all the way back in 2018. These losses have been absolutely catastrophic in this crypto market. This is something way bigger than we have ever seen before. But it tells us something positive. Everyone has already taken their loss. They've already got out the market. They've already felt that extreme fear, the panic that has caused them to capitulate. They did it here. Price then recovered. Maybe people FOMO'd in around 80k, and then they panicked again and sold up once more. That's why we see this massive volatility. Okay, this tells me that there's not that many retail to come and sell the markets. So where could we get that $400 billion of sell pressure to bring price down like many people want to see? Well, maybe it could come from leverage. If you've been in the markets for a while, you know that there's 2 things to pay attention to here. Spot trading, which is buying and selling, and leverage trading. Probably the one thing that causes more volatility in crypto than anything else. And just a few days ago in the last video I made, I told you that this chart from coinglass.com was causing me some anxiety that we may well see a push lower. And for anyone who wants to find it, just go to funding rates on coinglass.com and go to funding rates, all free. You can check it out yourself. And always, I recommend you go and do your own research. Don't just take what I'm saying. You need to have conviction in buying or selling at any point, because when prices move in another direction over a short or a longer period of time, you're going to lose your conviction if you're just taking someone else's word for it. You need to do your own research here. Now, this is what I was scared about. You see, just a few days ago, everyone was piling into longs, this green stuff here, as the price was falling. What does that mean for us? It means that if everyone's going long and suddenly the price falls, those long trades eventually will get liquidated. A liquidated long trade effectively causes a big sell. So if I've got like 100k trade on a 10x, that is $1 million of buy pressure. Effectively, if that then gets liquidated, I add $1 million of sell pressure. Okay, not necessarily exactly like that, but that's roughly how it works. If everybody is going long, the market falls, everyone gets liquidated, price can cascade down very, very fast. It then causes all the panic selling. The whole kind of snowball effect happens. That's what we saw earlier on this year. That's when we saw back in 10th of October before, right? Lots of people panicking. But all of a sudden, one of the sweetest short-term signals that you could see has just shown itself. And it is this little bit of red here. This tells you something very positive. It tells you that as price is falling, people are no longer going long. It tells you the bulls are out of this. They're getting out of. Either they've been liquidated already or they've been closing their long trades. And in their place, you're getting a load of bears piling up short positions. This means that if the price isn't forced down by their short positions and you start to get some more buying coming on, price can go up and it can then liquidate those shorts. Remember, a sell liquidated gets turned into a buying pressure. This is why you can then get sort of spikes down, spikes back up. You get the picture. Stabilization, at least in the short term. So should we just do what Warren Buffett says and buy the fear, sell the greed? Well, historically, this has been something that has always worked well in Bitcoin and crypto. But right now, Bitcoin and crypto in general are not behaving like they have historically behaved. And that, for me, is something very scary. And this chart tells the full story. Now, this chart may have been presented to you as something very bullish and very exciting. And theoretically, it should be. But we're not seeing it right now. And that is causing a lot of stress and panic amongst the macro analysts out there. And here's why. On top, you've got the ISM Manufacturing Index of the United States. And on the bottom, you've got the total market cap of crypto. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, all of them together. Now you'll notice I've drawn lots of lines and stuff on here, and I'll explain this as we work through so that you can understand this clearly, because this is one of those crucial things to analyze right now. It will give us a good clue as to whether we've bottomed already, whether we're likely to bottom later in the year, like many people say. And if we do that, whether we top in 2030, like the 4-year cycle theory says, or whether actually the next top is more likely to be in 2027 into early 2028 before a massive capitulation event. This is absolutely key to understand. So what is it all? On top, ISM, Manufacturing Index. The United States is the biggest consumer in the world. They use products made in places like China, Korea, Japan, you name it, right? That means that when the ISM is up, they're manufacturing. It means they're consuming lots and lots of products. It means that people are investing and building their businesses. It means that companies are investing money into other companies so that they can go and build houses, so that they can build more machinery. You get it. This shows you when the economy is strong in the United States. When the economy is strong in the United States, often it's strong across many other regions of the world. In these times, when you have strong economies in the US and a booming economy, you'll see assets doing really well. The stock market hitting all-time highs. We've been seeing that. The small cap stocks hitting all-time highs. We've seen that. Some commodities also rallying like crazy. We've seen that. And typically, historically, crypto has also been doing the same until the last few years where something weird has happened. You see, on this top chart, you've got this red line through the middle. This is 50. Okay, this is like equilibrium. When the line is below here, it means that manufacturing is down. There's a lot of panic and pain in the US economy at that time and likely the global economy. When it's above 50, it's an expansion. Times are good. Starting to look to hire more staff, everyone gets more employment, there's more money floating around, people are happier. When it gets up into this green zone, everyone is loving life, everyone's making money, everything is good. People don't feel the pinch as much, and a lot of assets are going absolutely crazy. Think back to 2021, NFTs and all these different things. Now, you'll notice this running hot kind of area here is literally where this blue line was every single time we had a bull market top for the total market cap of crypto. In 2017, it happened here. in 2021, we had one peak of the first bull market leg up here, and then you had the second one coming in here, November 2021, before it dumped, and that was the sell-off at the end of the bull market that led eventually to the FTX crash. Now, the market typically bottoms in crypto way before the ISM. The crypto market is very, very sensitive to liquidity in the system. When there's good liquidity, crypto goes up. When there's bad liquidity, crypto has historically gone down. You can see when we suddenly see the ISM dipping off the face of a cliff, the crypto market will likely have already bottomed or be building up towards a bottom. We get these spikes down, you can see here, and these correspond to basically the lows that you see on the total market cap. And this all makes perfect sense all the way up until 2022. And beyond that, something weird happens, something that we didn't really expect from a macro point of view. You see, back at the end of 2022, the Bitcoin price hit a whopping $16,800 on extreme fear, extreme panic. It was a great time to buy. Nobody wanted to buy. Everybody was calling for another cycle or lower or whatever it was going to be. Everything went wrong, but then it all started to go up. And this is weird, right? Because the ISM, you can see, continues lower and lower until around July 2023. By then, crypto had kind of rallied up throughout that point. There was then a very brief period of time where the ISM peaked its nose just above 50, and that was March 2024. You can see that we had that first rally up in Bitcoin and a lot of altcoins. We saw real world assets, AI coins doing well in that period of time. And this is what's caused the pain that many people are in now. Many people were aping into altcoins, suddenly panicked by how quickly altcoins suddenly showed their face in and around this time. Then we get the second little spike here in January 2027. Just before that, you see we get the kind of little end of 2024 bull market, anticipation that Donald Trump's going to be pro-crypto. Again, we get mini altcoin season. We see AI agents going crazy, meme coins, you name it. These two mini altcoin seasons happened when the ISM tipped its nose above 50. But then what happens? Through 2025, something crazy happens. The ISM goes down, but crypto goes up. And that's something we have never, ever seen before. ISM means strong economy. Crypto does well when you see a strong economy. But over the last year, we were waiting for a strong economy to arrive. I definitely was, but it never really showed its face. We didn't get the rate cuts that we expected. We saw government lockdowns. We saw tensions in the Middle East starting to bubble up. We saw tariffs come in. We saw all of these crazy things with the Fed and everything else, and crypto kind of went up. Not all of crypto, but Bitcoin went up hard. Bitcoin went from around $74,000 all the way up to $126,000. And it absolutely shouldn't really have happened. Throughout this period of time, crypto in general should have just sort of tracked sideways, okay? But it's been going up. And this has become even more weird right now in that if we go back to December, when suddenly you get an end to quantitative tightening, the Fed stops that, and then they start to introduce the printing of T-bills, and that's been adding more money to the balance sheet. You had the stock market go bananas, you had gold blowing off top, you had lots of other things going on. The ISM went from around 47 all the way to 54 at the moment, which is very close to getting into the running hot zone, and yet crypto during that time has been going down. So back last year, crypto should have been going up while the ISM was going down. Now the ISM is going up, crypto should be going up, but crypto is going down. And that's something that should scare us, because this is showing something far more random, not logical, not something that's always linked to everything else out there. And many people will be like, well, yeah, it's just a 4-year cycle. Bitcoin just follows a 4-year cycle. Okay, fair enough. But this is effectively where the 4-year cycle came from. This is 2017, tops here on ISM. It then falls to kind of lows in and around 2019, then has a final major sell-off before then pushing into 2021. 4 years. So from this one in 2021 November, you should have another 4 years before the next peak of the ISM into here. But that never really happened. And a lot of other weird things happened that never happened before. And you're like, yeah, it's just a coincidence that it hits on with the ISM. It all actually links to the halving. Fair enough again. Then why did the Bitcoin price hit all-time highs before the halving this time when previously it never did? Why didn't we get an altcoin season like previously we always did? So many things always happen, but most of the things that always happen haven't happened this time. So should we really be buying this dip? Can we rely on the market to come back strongly? Well, I think there's a couple of things that we should consider here. First of all, total is this. The total market cap obviously includes Bitcoin. And really, it's only Bitcoin which is kind of inversely correlating to what happened throughout this period of time, going up throughout that period of time and then basically selling off while the ISM was moving higher. If you were to take Ethereum or pretty much any of the altcoins, you would see something very, very different. You see, Bitcoin didn't really behave in line with all the other macro assets. It kind of ran in a more similar pattern to what gold did. Ethereum, on the other hand, never really broke with any conviction beyond its all-time highs from 2021. It had these brief spikes along with what happened on the ISM. You can see this basically ISM move down around here. You then get that first peak. You then dump down here, get the second peak. It then dumps down into this zone, obviously has that final kind of move up here. And only in the last few months is the really lack of correlation being shown. One of the cleanest alignments that you can find is actually the others versus Bitcoin chart, which is effectively the smaller cap altcoins outside the top 10. You see, this actually lines up almost perfectly. This was the last top here, which you can see pretty much over here on the ISM, still in super running hot territory. You then get this crash down, okay, and then that runs all the way till this point, 23rd of May. You then get this rounding off, which you see here, takes us up to that high, crash down, rounding off, up to this high, crash down, okay, rounding off until around this date, on the 29th of December, which on the others Bitcoin chart is down here. And now you can see as the ISM is rallying towards the upside, so is this chart threatening to break out here. The others versus Bitcoin chart is one of the more closely aligned charts to what's going on the ISM. Okay, so what happened? Why have we seen this misalignment? Well, a few things come to mind. If we think back to 2021 versus what happened since kind of 2022 into 2023 and beyond, Bitcoin and crypto is a very different thing from what it was there. Not just because of price, but a lot of other aspects. I mean, since this happened, we had ETFs, exchange traded funds. This has given an avenue for billions, if not trillions of dollars to be able to find its way into Bitcoin and other crypto assets. That came through BlackRock. It came through other big banks, institutions. This is a whole new channel that added a whole lot of different money into the system. It was no longer just based around retail with a handful of institutional interest. In fact, if you refer to what Ben Cowan's been saying with regards to very low retail interest, it tells you that a lot of the movement that we've seen throughout this period of time is from institutional money, not from retail. And a lot of this kind of price rising, etc., probably came off the back of anticipation of ETFs and then anticipation of things like the Clarity Act passing, anticipation that Donald Trump was going to be the savior for crypto and we were going to see big booms and whatever else going on in the market. Lo and behold, we then kind of reached into kind of October time. Markets kind of got a little bit tired, not particularly interested. I think in reality, all we are seeing is Bitcoin returning to the equilibrium level that it really should have been, because ultimately it over pushed itself here and has now come back down to a level that is more in line with what we're seeing in line with those ISM numbers, which means that at some point it will probably find its bottom, and then eventually we're going to have a new catalyst that's going to get introduced to the market. That could be something like the Clarity Act being passed. It could be end of the war in the Middle East, whatever it might be. All effectively I'm looking for is a stable price to buy in at when the market is full of fear and panic, because typically it means that a lot of sell pressure has already been used up. If the sell pressure has been used up, you get a stable platform. All you're then waiting for is some positive news. And I believe in the short term, what we're really seeing is market manipulation. Price being forced down in order to wait for better economic conditions, in order to wait for seeing rate cuts, in order to see more money printing going on, in order to see the retail market really having the money and being ready to support a full-blown bull market. Because remember, retail are invited into markets to provide cashing out for smart money. Whether you like it or not, crypto effectively allows some people to make money while lots of people lose money. Remember, for you to make $1,000, it means 10 people have got to lose $100. This is effectively what happens. Massive amounts of people put money into the pockets of the few, and then what happens at the bottom is massive amounts of people sell, and then the few will buy into the market. I think eventually what we're going to see is Bitcoin and the altcoins snapping back to being more in line with what the macro is telling us. And if that happens, we could expect to see some very exciting times ahead. But the most important thing here, if it does snap back and start following the ISM and everything else, it will not top in 2030 like everybody who's assuming it's going to bottom now is going to buy now and then sell in 2030. It will come down much harder and much earlier than that, probably topping somewhere in and around 2027 into 2028. I don't believe that this was the top for Bitcoin. I don't believe that this is the real bottom for Bitcoin. I believe that we're going to see a continuation, and we're going to see a much bigger top later on and a much bigger sell-off, more in line with the sentiment and everything else that we've seen, more in line with the macro that we've been looking at. So yes, I'll continue to buy into this market, and predominantly I'll continue to buy altcoins over Bitcoin, just because the others versus Bitcoin chart is absolutely catastrophic right now. But it's following the ISM. ISM will continue to rise, and this breakout is likely to happen. When it does, we're going to see strong altcoins starting to push as well. Make sure you check out my last video if you want to go and check out how to find those strong altcoins. And also, if you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button. If you missed out on last video or you want to see the next ones coming up, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you very soon in another video. Bye-bye.